Hello, in this video I want to talk about Vim's visual block mode, which is a mode of Vim that's often ignored. I'm going to go through some of the examples of some of the things you can do with it because I find it quite useful recently. So starting off, we've got this example C file, and if we try and compile it and run it, it's going to be like, oh no, we've got some errors because someone has forgotten to put semicolons at the end of all the lines. So what we can actually do really easily with Vim using visual block mode is we can make changes to a whole load of lines as if you were making a change to a single line. So to get into visual block mode, you do Control V, like that. And then let's suppose I want to select all of the lines. Well, I can do 7J, and then I want to get to the end of the line because I want to append something to the end of the line. So to do that, I'm going to do $, and then capital A is append at the end of the line. Now, in visual mode, append at the end of the line, i.e. capital A, actually means append at the end of the visual selection, which is why we need to do that $sign to get to the end of the line. Press capital A, and then if I press semicolon and then press escape, it's going to do it to all of the lines. So I've got a semicolon on all the lines now. We can compile this and this will all work perfectly fine. So that's all very good. Just to give you an example, this doesn't work if you were to go into, say, visual line mode. So capital V takes you into visual line mode. Let's suppose I was like, you know what, I actually don't want that semicolon at the end. So we go to the end of the line, we select that and we delete it. It doesn't get rid of the semicolon, it gets rid of the line instead. And the same thing with visual mode, so just normal visual mode, which is lowercase v. We can't really make the same changes where I was to do, for example, insert at the end of the line. Try that again. It only inserts on the single line that I was currently on, i.e. the cursor was currently on. So that's quite good. Another thing we could also do if we wanted to with this is we could comment out lines. So we could do a very similar thing to what we did previously. Let's say I wanted to do, let's get into visual block mode. We'll comment out all of the lines that are the printf lines. So I could do, what would it be? 7. Oh no, that's 8. Well, we could do that. So we can go through all the lines, and then if I was to do capital I is to append at the start of the line or the start of the visual block. So in this case, it's at the start of the visual block. And then if I was to type in / escape, it comments out all the lines for us. So that's quite a useful thing we could do. Another thing is that we could, for example, get rid of all the hellos and swap them out for something else. So again, go into visual block mode, do a 7J, and then if we do an E to get to the end of the word, C to change the word, and then do another word, it will change it to hi. Now, you could do that with find and replace. For example, you could do, search for hi and then replace it with hello. That would do the same thing. But of course, with visual block mode, you can specifically select that block of text you wanted to do. So you could, for example, you could only do, let's say, the first 3, and it'd be really easy to do that. So you could do 1, 2, 3, and then we want to do E, C, hi, done. And it will select those for you. So these are some sort of basic examples that we've got. There are a few other examples that I wanted to show you, particularly with something called Gherkin. So if we look at this, so we've got this feature file here. So let's have a look at, for example, let's create a new step, is what they call it in a Cucumber file. So if I do, when the users are logged in or something like that. And then I want to copy this data table. So I could do visual block mode, get the lines, yank them, come down here, paste them. And then let's say for this particular step, I don't really care about the first name and the last name fields or the Twitter fields. So what I could do is let's do we'll find that. If we then go into visual block mode, do what it would be, 3J, then I want to move over to the first, can I do that? There we go, to the first line, and then just do a D, but I also want to get the second one, so if I do D, that will delete those for me nicely. Although I have just messed up because I didn't include the right spaces. And if we were to get rid of all of these here, we could do 3J, and then go to the end of the line and just do a D, delete them. So now we've got a new data table that's got just the username and the email. And then we could do something like, if I created a new step, then the user ID is found or something like this. So this is a pseudo test. This isn't actually doing anything. I'm just making this up off the top of my head at the moment. So we could do, then the user is found. I could then nick the first data table again. So maybe now what I want to do in this then step is add a field called user ID, and for whatever reason I don't want to add it at the start of the column, I want to add it somewhere in the middle. Let's say after last name, I could do go to the last name column, and if I was to enter visual block mode again, do a 3J, and then we'll go to the line. So F will find the character, which is what I've been doing if you're wondering there. Y to yank that, we'll find the next line. And if I do a paste, we've now got a new column that's been just inserted wonderfully. And I could just, go along and change all of that if I wanted to. So we could change all of those words if we want, but we don't need to. So do CIW to change in word, user ID. And then, I don't know, we could just switch these out for some random things, A1, and then B2 or something like that. And I might want to just pad that out with a load of spaces because that would be nice. But there we go. So that's what we can do with visual space mode, visual block mode, should I say. So there's a lot of things you can do which otherwise it would be a bit of a pain to do. You couldn't really do it as easy. So you'd have to do it, line by line, or you might have to copy a whole line, do that, swap some things out, or you'd have to go through each single one, each column, and add a new bit for the column. It's a pain in the arse. So using visual block mode can really save a hell of a lot of time. So yeah, that's about all I wanted to cover. Thanks for watching. Arrivederci.